very tough. I told her, as we stand with any victim of violence, or any homicide victim, their family, we stand with them in this city, in this police department, and everybody that's standing behind me. I want to thank our homicide unit under the direction of Commander Spears for doing great work time and time again. I'm going to speak briefly, and I'm going to turn it over to the homicide investigator Arrington. After he speaks, I'm going to get Commander Garcia to come up and translate in Spanish, and he'll go over some of the investigative parts. But let me speak to this just right. We understand and we know it. This morning at about approximately 2:34 a.m., officers received a call of a shooting in progress. Officers arrived there shortly thereafter. The location, the downtown location, billiards, bowling alley located at 1201 San Jacinto Street here in the downtown area. Once officers arrived, they came upon a male who was deceased. That male has been identified as Kirsnick Ball, better known as Takeoff. He's a member of the Migos rap group out of Atlanta. And I want to pause again because sometimes the hip-hop community gets a bad name. And I know, evident from this city and people who I have a personal relationship, a lot of great people in our hip-hop community. And I respect them. But back to Takeoff. I got many calls from Houston and outside of Houston. And everyone spoke of what a great young man this is, how peaceful he is, what a great artist. And I'm calling up on everybody, our hip-hop artists in Houston and around the nation. We got to police ourselves. It is so many talented individuals, men and women, in that community who, again, I love and I respect. And we all need to stand together and make sure nobody tears down that industry. And I'm calling to start here in Houston, here and possibly as early as next week. I want to meet with some of our artists and see how we can taper things down. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to the investigator, and we'll our commander translate, and the mayor is here for questions as well. But I want to pray ask that we all pray for his mother, his family, and all of his friends who are in deep pain and shock still right now. Thank you. Investigator, come on up.
Thank you again, Chief, and thank you all for coming here. Good afternoon. I'm Sergeant Michael Arrington. I'm a sergeant with the Houston Police Department's Homicide Division. And earlier this morning, as he said, our patrol officers received a call at approximately 2:34 a.m. of a shooting just occurred at the 810 Billiard and bowling alley. From there, we were notified that there was a single male who was shot and pronounced deceased on the scene on the third level just outside the front door. We were also informed that two other individuals had reported themselves by personal vehicle to local area hospitals on their own, both of them with non-life-threatening injuries, but a 23-year-old male and a 24-year-old female. Like I said, both of them are going to be okay, and we have spoken and gotten information from them to help us in this investigation. But the officers arriving on the scene, initial statements from employees working at the establishment notified us that there was an incident that occurred after the party had ended. There was a private party that was booked out for the event. And then after that ended, there was a large group of people who gathered at the front door area just outside of the building. And it led to an argument where the shooting took place from the disagreement. A lot of the people that were there fled the scene and did not stick around to give a statement. So we're asking them to either call us at the Homicide Division at 713-308-3600, or if they would like to remain anonymous, they can call Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS. We're looking for any information at this time, any videos, any information. We do know that the media has received a lot of phone calls, text messages, Twitter, tweets, vines, videos. We need all of y'all to send those to us so we can solve this case. We're looking for anything to help us. From there, as the chief said, we want to find justice for this family. They're going through a lot right now. And the only thing that we can do is hope that y'all reach out and assist us in any way to lead to evidence that will help us to apprehend and get charges and arrest on the person responsible for the death of Takeoff.
Thank you. Just to follow up, I just want to say something to our city, Houston. Every brother and sister in the neighborhoods, calling you to action, to step up. There were 40 people at least at this event. People left possibly out of fear. I ask you one thing, and I want this to resonate with everybody. What if it was your brother? What if it was your son? You would want somebody to step up. So please step up, get the information to us so we can bring some closure to this family who's hurt right now. Commander, translate for us. Thank you.
Muy buenas tardes a todos ustedes. Antes que nada, le queremos dar el sincero pésame a la familia de la víctima. A nombre del jefe y del alcalde, les mandamos nuestras oraciones a los seres queridos de esta víctima, que ha sido identificada como Karshnik Ball. Tenía el apodo de Takeoff. El jefe de la policía hace unos minutos habló con la mamá de este individuo. Le dio su más sincero pésame en persona, y también le dijo la mamá cómo era una persona de paz. Y toda la información que hemos obtenido hasta este momento indica lo mismo, de que este individuo era una persona tranquila, que no era violenta, que simplemente estaba en ese lugar donde había una reunión privada. El lugar de los hechos fue en el 1201 de la calle San Jacinto. El lugar se llama 810 Billiards and Bowling, que en español es billares y boliche. En el tercer piso, aproximadamente a las 2:34 de esta mañana, sucedieron los hechos. Al terminar el evento privado, salieron del lugar, y afuera de las puertas de este negocio fue cuando hubo alguna disputa, una discusión. Alguien produjo una pistola y fue baleado esta víctima. 2 personas adicionales también sufrieron heridas, están en un hospital local y van a sobrevivir sus heridas. De nuevo, a nombre del alcalde y a nombre del jefe de la policía, le hacemos un llamado a la comunidad, no nada más a la comunidad musical de hip hop, pero a toda la comunidad, de que lleguemos al final del uso de la violencia con armas de fuego. Un llamado para que entre todos se resuelva este caso y le demos justicia a la familia. Una vez más, si había 40 personas mínimo en el lugar, si alguien huyó del lugar por temor, les pedimos, por favor, comuníquense con la División de Homicidios al 713-308-3600. Y si quieren permanecer anónimos, háblenle al 713-222-TIPS. Chief, you want to open the questions?
Just a note before I turn it back over to Chief Fenner. As you have heard, this was a private party last night of about 40 people. in that group, uh, somebody or people know who the actual shooters were. And let me just ask, like has already been asked, that anyone who has information on the shooters to provide that information to HPD, and let us solve this situation. Let us bring justice to this family. But I'm asking for any of the persons who were at this private party that know that have information on the shooters. Please provide that information to HPD and let us solve it. We will solve this particular case. We will find the shooters. But information provided would help to expedite that. But we will. I do want to extend my condolences to the mom of Takeoff, to all the family members of Takeoff, to the families and friends. So I do want to. I want to do that because it doesn't matter how famous you are. You may not be famous at all. Anybody who loses his or her life is a life lost, and there are family members and friends who are grieving as a result. What I've consistently said over the last several months is that I'm concerned with this age group, this young group between 16 and 24. Let's say 16, 24, 16 and 30. There are too many young men of color that are killing young men of color. And we do need to have that conversation. We do need to deal with it head on. This was a private party, private event coming at the end, and then we have the shooting, and now one person is no longer with us. And it's not just in the hip-hop community, and I just don't want to demonize this group, but it's across the board with this demographic, where people are no longer resolving their disputes or their arguments through a fist fight, but now everybody has access to guns, and so when there's a disagreement, people pull their guns and they start shooting, and then people are fatally shot and killed, or people are injured, and that's unfortunate. In my day, you have a disagreement, fist fight, and you deal with it. In this day, if there's a disagreement, in those few seconds when the emotions are running high, people pull their guns and then they're shooting. And as a consequence of that, we have too many young men of color that are being injured or fatally killed, and their future is cut off, and family members and friends are left to mourn. This does not have to be our reality, and it need not be our future. And so as it relates to this particular incident, what I would say to the people in this city and even beyond, we will solve this crime. Let us solve this crime. Let us bring the persons to justice, and we will. And then we will continue to move to make our city a safer city. It's disappointing after putting in place One Safe Houston, which is still in place, when the numbers are trending in the right direction, when homicides in the city of Houston are below, 11% below last year, when the numbers of violent crime in almost every category are down in comparison to last year. But one incident, one loss of life through shooting is one too many, irrespective of the numbers trending in the right direction. So just want to let people know this particular crime will be resolved and it will be addressed. But if you have any information for those in the hip-hop community, to those who were there last night, please provide that information to HPD, and then let us work to quickly resolve it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, go ahead.
There is some speculation on social media that Takeoff may not have been involved in the beef, whatever went down. Is there any indication that he was caught in some sort of crossfire, or even perhaps shot by a associated?
I don't want to speculate, but I do want to say, based on what people say about him, he's well respected, nonviolent. I would not expect him to be involved, okay? But I do want to wait on the investigation, but we have no reason to believe that he was involved in anything criminal at the time, just as people describe him, a very peaceful, loving, great entertainer. That's still part of the investigation. I don't want to speculate on that. I want to determine that. And we're still on the early stages. It's only happened a few hours ago, I meant to say. So go ahead.